Time for the takeaway and crying over unspilled milk. Once again, the U.S. has signaled clearly that it finds Canada's protection of its dairy market to be unfair, a trade irritant that the president seems personally irritated by. Given that our trade teams are probably holed up somewhere in Washington as we speak, a new Trump tweet about dairy is a sure sign that it's on the table in those talks. And that should not be surprising. Canada's system of supply management for dairy and poultry and eggs is one that many countries take issue with. It's one reason the UK walked away from negotiations of a post-Brexit agreement with Canada. There are many ways to support homegrown industry that wouldn't run afoul of our trading partners. So why does Canada insist on supply management? Because, make no mistake, we do insist. The recently passed Bill C-202 was a resurrected version of a law that died when Parliament was prorogued. In other words, it could have been left well enough alone. Instead, a new bill was rushed into law this summer. The law makes it illegal for our trade negotiators to put dairy on the table at all. And while you might think that's a bit short-sighted, tying the hands of all future trade negotiators, it's a law that had unanimous support in Parliament. How dairy became a sacred cow in Canada is more about politics than nutrition or support for business. It's no coincidence that the vast majority of the farms affected are in Quebec, and that Quebec often acts as kingmaker in Canadian elections. But beyond the political rationale, it's hard to find any other for this outdated policy. Is milk somehow special in a way that Canadian beef is not? When there's plenty of evidence that dairy products cost Canadian consumers more than they would if imports in this market looked more like imports in other ones. Maybe there's a way around Bill 202, which includes changing U.S. quotas for the Canadian market. If not, all Canadians will pay the price for this policy. My takeaway? Holding a whole trade deal hostage to one sliver of the economy feels illogical. But then we've been holding consumers hostage to that same sliver for decades.
Taking Stock, Fridays on BNN Bloomberg.